Hello, everybody. How are you today? My name is Eva. I am the director of the Scottish Wool Producer Showcase and also the Scottish Yarn Festival. We're talking all things showcase today, and hopefully I will be joined by Clare from Wee County Yarns. She's joined, so we'll just send a wee invite. Here we go, invite to join. It's going through, fingers crossed we'll get a good connection. And like magic, we have. Now, I'm going to prefix this with a little kind of like apology just in case it's needed. 20 minutes before we'd kind of scheduled this live today, construction workers have rocked up at my next door neighbour's house. So I'm upstairs, I'm in my studio space where it should be a bit quieter, but there may start to be some sort of sawing noises, some hammering noises. If it's not that bad, we're just going to roll with it because that's real life. And if it gets really bad, we'll just kind of stop where we are and we'll save it to the grid and we'll come back on before the showcase and kind of pick up where we left off. So thank you in advance, just in case we need it. How are you today, Clare? What's going on where you are?
Good. Yeah, no, just busy with show preparation as usual. But yeah, all ready to go, I think.
All ready to go. I just clocked the cowl to your side. I'm not sure which side it is yet. That's the one, just in case it's mirrored.
Yep.
I won't say left or right. That's from your last Advent, isn't it? This is a pattern that you designed.
So that's the 2022 Advent calendar with the needles. So I thought it had actually been sitting there, but I thought that would be a good backdrop to use along with the cones. So
it's gorgeous. I love your backdrop, but yeah, that sort of knit along pattern for your advent calendar is just outstanding. I'm loving it. It's almost like little star floral.
A floral theme. So each day you got bits of botanical stuff. So you've got sort of leaves and flowers and upside down thistles and more planty bits. So
it's beautiful. So you've been with us for a while. You've been to all sorts of our events. You've been to us when we were part of the Festival of Yarn. You came to the showcase last year. What are you bringing this year? Have you got anything to show us?
So like Scottish wool producers, obviously sheep produce wool, but so what I will be bringing along is the produce from 2 Scottish mills. So I use 2 mills. One is Todd and Duncan in Kinross, which is just down the road from both of us. And the other one is JC Rennie, who are up near Peterhead. I've been working with these mills for, JC Rennie, I think I've been working for about 13 years now. Todd and Duncan I've been working with for about 5 years. And they produce very different yarns. So the JC Rennie, which is the cones behind me,
and what I'm wearing as well. That's why I put this shawl on.
Oh, excellent! I'm in the Kinross, so but this is so JC Rennie produce a much more rustic yarn than the Todd and Duncan, but it's brilliant for Fair Isle. Really good for colour work, and it's pure wool 2-ply, knits as 4-ply sort of thing, and their colours are amazing. So they're not. Neither of the mills. I'm often asked this. Neither of the mills are using Scottish yarn, Scottish fleece. They get their fibre in from all sorts of places. And obviously it would be lovely to be using Scottish sheep spun in Scottish mills, but it's all part of the process. And both these companies have been, JC Rennie was founded in 1796, and they're actually in the same, they kind of moved out to various other mills when they expanded, and then they've contracted back to where they are at the moment, which is where they started in 1796. They've even got the original water wheel that they're trying to renovate every time I speak to them. But, so they've been around for a long time. Todd and Duncan are relative newcomers. They're only 155 years old. And actually, they used to be based in Clackmannanshire in the Wee County. So I'm Wee County Yarns, which is Clackmannanshire. And that used to be a massive hub of textiles and spinning, and it was covered with mills, and now there isn't a single mill left in Clackmannanshire, which is really a shame. I mean, there's one of the last ones to go was Peyton's and Baldwin, which obviously everyone knows as Peyton's. And there's lots of people that I meet at the knitting groups here who, you know, used to work for them on the Saturdays and, you know, still have wool in their stash that was spun here. And now it's a big Tesco's car park, unfortunately. So, but Todd and Duncan used to be based in Alva until 1949 or something, when they moved down the road to Kinross. And they spin a lot of cashmere, so about 85% of what they do is cashmere, and only about 15% is lamb's wool. I get their lamb's wool, and again, we get it directly on the cone, so we buy the cones from them and wind the hank straight off the cone without scouring them first, which makes our wool slightly different, because when you feel it in the hank, it's not as soft as it will be once it's knitted and washed. So the same with the JC Rennie. There's still some of the spinning oils in it, some of the natural lanolin, and you just knit with it normally, and then you give it a really good soak. I do a double soak first time with a proper detergent like washing up liquid, and that softens it and it blooms and it becomes lovely. The Kinross is a very, very high quality yarn. It's a lamb's wool, mainly Geelong, which I think is just another word for merino from what I can find out. But, you know, extra fine merino that they get from mainly South Africa, but it's all GOTS, non-mulesed and, you know, certified flocks. So it makes it a really, really soft, lovely, delicious yarn to work with, that is, you know, given the price point, you know, 50 grams of the Kinross, we sell for £7.95. If you want to buy their cashmere, then actually Rowan have produced a line of cashmere that is spun by Todd and Duncan as well, and that's 35 quid for 50 grams. So, you know, the price difference is enormous, but the feeling of them, you know, the feeling of the Kinross once it's washed, I don't think it doesn't feel 5 times nicer if it's cashmere, I reckon. And it's much more of a workhorse yarn. You can actually afford to make a jumper out of it. So we've been doing that, and we've got lots of designs that use both the yarns and lots of patterns, and we'll be bringing some new colours. So I've got one of the new colours that we're bringing in the Kinross here. So this is Firth, which is a really nice denim-y blue. You can pick your favourite Firth, whether it's the Forth or the Clyde or the Moray, whichever, but really nice denim-y blue. So we've got some new shades in the 4-ply, and also we've got the Kinross in the lace weight. So we do it in a 4-ply and a 2-ply. That's one of the pewter shade that we've got in the lace weight, which makes really lovely shawls, and new colours in the mini balls, new designs coming, most of which I can't show you because they're not finished. There's this one that I'm working on at the moment.
It's always a work in progress, isn't it? Your mini balls.
If the patterns turn up from the printer the day before, I'm like, yay! I'm really organised this time. But yeah, so this is a Fair Isle hat design that I'm doing just now, which is using the same. So this motif here is the same motif from the Pick and Mix cowl that I brought out a few years ago. And this design, I'm knitting it in the Kinross, but we'll be able to use both the Kinross and the mini balls, because, you know, a lot of people are wanting nice first time forays into Fair Isle. I do a lot of Fair Isle, obviously, and I like all the colours, but a lot of the designs that we do, you can use both yarns for it. But the colour, I mean, JC Rennie isn't as soft, but their colours are absolutely amazing. So they do, Todd and Duncan dye on site. You know, they've got these huge vats. It's amazing. Whereas JC Rennie, I think it's dyed in Hull, actually, but they come in bales, but they get all the primary colours and then they do all the mixing during the spinning. So the JC Rennie colours are very complex. You know, I'm not going to be able, this isn't going to work, but I'm going to try anyway. So this is one of the shades, Jade. No, it just looks flat, doesn't it?
You can see that there's a bit of heathering to it. Yeah,
lots of other colours in it. I don't know whether this one's another one that's, you know, it's blue, but it's got, it won't show up on the video.
There's purples in there as well.
Yeah, come and see them in person. But, you know, they've got really, really lovely, rich, complex shades, which lends themselves to gradients and Fair Isle and all sorts of things. So yeah, that's what we'll be bringing. I think, unless I've missed anything.
No, I think you're probably most famous for your mini balls, but I would like to think, Kinross 4 Ply has been
Mm.
getting a lot of coverage on sort of
Mm.
various podcasts and things that I watch, particularly sort of the Scottish podcasters and Rachel Clare. I think she's done some design
Yeah.
work using it.
Yes.
I think I grabbed 4 skeins for
Yeah.
50-gram skeins
Yeah.
at the last Perth. I have a shawl. I won't say it's finished because it's off the needles. It's been off the needles for months, but I haven't woven the ends in yet or blocked it.
Yeah,
because
giving
it's
it that
winter.
all-important wash. No, I
Yeah,
remember.
so
There was one of the podcasters was chatting to me and said it's like a secret club. You wash it and it just turns into this gorgeous yarn. And I'm like, don't make it a secret club. Tell everyone about it. So yeah, I think people are starting to realise, because it is a slightly, it's tricky to persuade people. When something's lovely and soft in the skein, it's easy. Or when you're selling it on colour, that's easy. But it's why I always try and bring as many samples as I can to show people that this is what it'll end up like. And it is a really easy process, the washing. I just do it in my bathroom sink. Nothing, difficult that's needed. So and I think you get a much nicer feel than if you use the machine scoured stuff. So I think it's one of my little hobby horse. Knit straight from the comb.
yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you on both counts, on both the JC Rennie and from your Kinross 4 Ply as well. It is totally different, and it was a wonderful experience, even though it hasn't been sort of machine scoured, to work with the Kinross to do that shawl. And I was kind of speaking to people that I'm in knitting groups with and going, this is a dream. This wants to knit itself. And I think it's just, I don't like the word educating because it almost feels like you're being talked down to when you use that word. But it's kind of sharing that knowledge that, merino, I think we're so used to kind of, yarn at an event, it's merino, it's all squishy and smooshy, and it's, yes, but so is this. It just needs a wee wash first, and it's part of the characteristics of it. Because it blooms, it becomes so soft and so durable and wearable. It's just part of the characteristics of those yarn blends, and I feel that they trap the warmth better as well.
Yeah, no, the jumper I've got on, I remember putting it on top of Hoy in Orkney, and it was windy, and I thought I'll try and get some pictures while I'm up at this beautiful scenery, and it was surprisingly windproof. I think, same with the, when you do Fair Isle with it, and then you wash the Fair Isle, it's almost like setting the picture, it's sort of, because they lock together in situ. I mean, I think we've all had that disappointment of feeling something that's lovely and soft in the hank, and then when you knit it up, it doesn't feel nearly as nice. I remember there was a Debbie Bliss yarn that did that to me that I've never quite forgiven. But very much
with the Debbie Bliss price point attached to it as well. Yeah.
Yes, it was the Andes. Oh, I mean, it was like petting a kitten in the hank. It was just gorgeous. So yes, very disappointing.
Yeah, was that the 100% mulberry silk stuff? It had a very high mulberry silk.
No, I think it was a silk alpaca blend. I think silk and alpaca, silk and something. I think it was the Andes, and back when I stopped Debbie Bliss before they went. Love knitting or whoever they've gone to, but yes, I digress.
It's like stories from knitting past. I remember when Debbie Bliss and Designer Yarns were huge, and it was like overnight, and then I think
it was news to me. I was like, where's my order?
Yeah, I think she got an exclusive contract with someone, didn't she? And everyone else didn't, because I love Noro. I was always a really massive fan of the Noro yarn, and they were with Designer Yarns. But we're not here to talk about Designer Yarns. We're here to talk all about you and the wonderful things that you do as part of the Scottish yarns, our landscape. And I love your little patterns. Is Harold Fatmouse coming with you? I think that's the question everyone wants to know.
Yeah, Harold will be coming along with his friend Roland. But I've got a feeling that the he's got a hedgehog friend in the works, but unfortunately he currently looks a bit like a turd. So
Oh!
this is prototype 1, and he's been sitting there looking at me sorrowfully, knowing that I need to redesign him, and I haven't got round to it yet. So
That wee face, though. Look at
I
the wee
can't
face.
promise that, given that he's been sitting there for a while now. But yes, so there are more friends to come.
Well, he's been on the screen now, so there's a degree of accountability comes with that.
Yes, no, that's what I need. I need chased. So yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for spending some time with us, Claire.
Not at all.
Thankfully, all the background noise has stopped.
Yes, they've obviously gone off for lunch. So, yeah.
Or having a cup of tea, or whatever it is that they're doing, but long may that continue, because I wasn't expecting that today. But yeah, I think I was starting to think, it's like, are we just cursed when we're trying to do an Instagram live? Is everything conspiring against us? But
I was a little nervous about starting this one after what happened last time. So just hooray!
You're fine. It just happens. But yeah, thank you so much for taking some time out to talk with us about what you're bringing, a little bit more about yourself, and yeah, can't wait to see you at the end of the month.
Yeah, it's not long now.
It really isn't. Okay, so I will speak to you again later on. Thank you everyone who's joined in just now or who's watching like on catch up. We'll see you soon. Bye.